Welcome back to the 90 More Podcast. My name is Kosu. Welcome back to a brand new video. There is absolute chaos at Manchester United and you love it. Erik ten Hag and Jadon Sancho are still punching each other. The big question is, where will this one end? Man United have said they will be not adding any additional statements to the words of the manager. They're behind the manager. And what does that mean for Jadon Sancho? Who is right? Who is wrong? Manchester United fans, a couple of them actually, turning on Erik ten Hag already. They're saying Erik ten Hag is the wrong profile for this job. He's a big ego and therefore Erik ten Hag is the big problem at Manchester United. A couple of fans are saying Jadon Sancho is a flop and therefore he doesn't have any right to be contesting the office of manager at Man United. What do you think about this, Man United fans? What do you think about these football fans? I'm going to be sharing my thoughts about it. It's a crazy situation. Two big egos in my opinion, two parties here that really deserve absolutely 100% of attention because they're making this story absolutely spicy. Now, this actually came from that 3-1 loss that Manchester United suffered at the Emirates Stadium. Erik ten Hag was asked about Jadon Sancho, why he was not in the matchday squad and why he didn't play in that game. And he said Jadon Sancho is not playing football and he was not part of the matchday squad against Arsenal because of his poor performance in training. As simple as that. The manager made himself very clear that there's some standards Manchester United and Manchester United players must meet. If you don't meet those criteria, if you don't meet those standards, then you cannot represent Manchester United. Now, after that press conference, the big man Jadon Sancho came out and refuted the claims that he was not doing very well in training and that his performances were actually depressing. So he said, I will not allow anyone to scapegoat me. I will not allow anyone to actually patronize me. I'm doing very well in training. I'm actually a top performer in training. The reason why the manager is not picking me is because of other reasons, not football related. Man United, ever since those two actions, have come out and said they will be backing the manager and they will be not releasing another statement in addition to the words of Erik ten Hag. So there is a big debate here. Who is right? Who is wrong? Who is the big ego? And who is actually to believe and who is not to be believed in all this? So for me, I'm going to say one or two things about Erik ten Hag's comments. Number one, I kind of feel like he did hang out Jadon Sancho to dry, and the way he came out and said Jadon Sancho isn't playing because of his performances in training, something is absolutely fishy. Something is not going right. I don't think Erik ten Hag would, if it was solely because probably he missed a sitter, probably because he came late or something like that, I don't think he would actually say it is, related to performances in training. There is something going on and there is something fishy about the comments of Erik ten Hag. We don't know what's going on behind the scenes, so we cannot tell, but there is something absolutely fishy. Now, Jadon Sancho, of course, has missed a couple of trainings at Borussia Dortmund before, and he was fined and he was punished, and life moved on. But Marcus Rashford, we will remember that Erik ten Hag actually benched Marcus Rashford for coming late in training. So if Erik ten Hag can bench one of the best players at Manchester United, one of the most important players at Manchester United, Jadon Sancho, I'm sorry, you are absolutely nothing. You're a player who was signed for around 70 million. You have been an absolute disgrace to the logo. You have been an absolute disgrace to the badge. And Man United have not sold Jadon Sancho because they do not have options and they do not have a proper offer. Should Man United get a proper offer, I don't think they keep Jadon Sancho. I think they actually ship him off. But what I don't like about Jadon Sancho and what I don't like about the comments of the player is the way they disrespect the office of manager at Man United. In my opinion, Jadon Sancho should not wear the Manchester United jersey again. It should be made an example of. Now, when you look at clubs like Liverpool, when you look at clubs like Manchester City, when you look at clubs like Arsenal, look at what happened to Joao Cancelo. Pep Guardiola talks to Cancelo, and Cancelo says, I'm going to leave if you don't give me more game time. And Pep says, that is the last time you're going to play to represent this club. Right? You've got to find a club, and there and then he ships him off to Bayern and then ships him off to Barcelona in this summer. He made a clear example. I think it's one of the key lessons I've learned about Pep Guardiola and a manager who is a disciplinarian is you've got to be patient as a player. You've got to be absolutely disciplined in order to represent their team. I don't think Jadon Sancho is such a bad player. I don't think Erik ten Hag cannot turn Jadon Sancho around. But Sancho has shown that he's impatient. He has shown that he's in a hurry to go somewhere, and therefore he has to disrespect the office of manager. That should be the last comment Jadon Sancho makes as a Man United player. Because one, when you come out and say that the manager is lying, you are actually performing better in training than the manager actually expects. It is an absolute disgrace. The manager has said there are things in your game that I don't like. There are things in your training performances that I don't like. As a player, as a professional, what you've got to do is to work on your game. And I don't think Jadon Sancho is at the level of Ronaldo. I don't think Jadon Sancho is at the level of a player like Bruno Fernandes or Marcus Rashford. Because if it's Marcus Rashford, he's going to say, I scored 30 goals last campaign. How do you say that I'm not, up to the standard? If you're Bruno Fernandes, you are going to say, I am, he would have said, I'm the top creating midfielder in the Premier League ever since I arrived in this league in January 2020. How do you say that I'm not a top performer? But for Jadon Sancho, a player who has really struggled for, this is his third season, right? Or fourth season, probably, at Man United. For a player who has struggled every single season, for you to come out and rebuff the manager's words because you feel you're doing well in training, it is a disgrace. It's an absolute disgrace. We've seen Jadon Sancho given chances. He's not taking them. He's an uninspiring signing. He's one of the worst signings the Premier League has ever seen in the last decade. So for me, I'm behind Erik ten Hag on this one. I don't think Jadon Sancho has got any right to write an official statement reacting in that way to a statement coming out of the office of manager at Manchester United. But let's talk about Erik ten Hag and the reaction that Manchester United and the general football world is actually putting out there on Erik ten Hag. So many people are saying that Manchester United's problem is Erik ten Hag, and therefore, he should leave because he got rid of Ronaldo and is now getting rid of Jadon Sancho. I just don't understand how people view football and how people actually understand the word success. When Erik ten Hag comes in and brings in Lisandro Martinez, and he brings in Anthony, and brings in Casemiro, and he takes Man United to the Carabao Cup final and wins it against a decent Newcastle side, takes them to finish third above a decent Newcastle side, in my opinion, that is a clear sign that this manager is taking us somewhere. That is a clear sign that whatever principles he outlined and implemented at Man United, they are clearly working. I don't understand why anyone would come out and say, well, Erik ten Hag, he's the problem. Man United are not, successful because of Erik ten Hag. He's been here one season, and that is Manchester United's best season in a very long time. It's Manchester United's most successful season in a very long time. He's made them dream again. He's made the fans feel they're a big club once again. And he has acted as a manager of a big club, and hence he has made Manchester United a big club again. How then do we sit here on any podcast, Twitter, Spotify, wherever we are, and say Erik ten Hag is regressing the trajectory of Manchester United? It's absolutely despicable. Like, that should be one of the worst takes anyone has ever said. That ten Hag is regressing the trajectory of Manchester United. It's abysmal. It's abysmal take. Now, look. The Jadon Sancho fans and Jadon Sancho cohort will be talking about Anthony and how Erik ten Hag has actually failed to bring out the best in Anthony. They worked together at Ajax and now he's struggling. As a manager, he understands the role that he assigns Anthony. And why he doesn't drop him, or why he drops him, that depends on the data, and that depends on the statistics, and that depends on how well Anthony is doing or not doing the role he's given him, right? We've seen so many managers stick to players that are actually not doing well, and in the end, those players come good or they drop them. You look at Mikel Arteta and how he decided to play Ben White every single game for the last 2 campaigns. Ben White is now one of the best defenders in the Premier League. He persisted and persisted with him. Mikel Arteta with Eddie Nketiah, we've all said Eddie Nketiah is not good enough, and until this guy played Eddie Nketiah every single time when he got the chance, and now Eddie is one of the top strikers probably in the Premier League, should we say. So when you think about that, and think about managers like Pep Guardiola, playing Nathan Ake as a left back, right? When you think about that, and you think about Jurgen Klopp and how he persistently played Trent Alexander-Arnold, despite the fact that he was off form last campaign, until he regained his best form, I think Ten Hag is made of that caliber. Top manager, his decision should be questioned, but he's not going to drop a player because you have said. Absolutely not. Now, is Anthony the worst signing at Manchester United? No. There is still Jadon Sancho. At the moment, Anthony still has bigger chances of coming alive than Jadon Sancho, right? Sancho is English, we understand. The media are going to be on his side. The media are going to be, hitting that bell for him, ringing the bell for him. But that doesn't take away the shady start that he has had at Man United. That doesn't take away that Jadon Sancho has been absolutely trash since signing from Borussia Dortmund. So for me, for anyone who says that Erik Ten Hag, big problem at Man United, is the reasons why Man United are regressing, you don't understand what you're talking about, right? You really don't understand what you're saying. Where does this one end, right? Where do we end with this one? Where should this one end? Now, I don't think it is such a big fuss, in my opinion, as one where I see Jadon Sancho walk into the office of Erik Ten Hag, iron a few things out. I think Erik Ten Hag would want to make an example of him. So therefore, I don't expect Erik Ten Hag to play him right away in the next game. He will make an example of him, just like he did with Cristiano Ronaldo. And for me, if Jadon Sancho leaves Man United, eventually, just like Ronaldo, the 2 decisions are right. There is no manager who is going to come around and try to sub you on and you refuse. There is no manager who is going to come around and, try to implement discipline in his squad as you are out there having a manager with Piers Morgan, having an interview with Piers Morgan about how you don't like the manager and how the team has become trash. It means that your mentality does not belong at Man United anymore. And he looked at that and said, Cristiano Ronaldo, you've done well, but your mentality has regressed. You've got to go. So Jadon Sancho's mentality is going to be absolutely crucial here. If Jadon Sancho is still pro Man United and pro Erik Ten Hag, then the future is bright, right? He will be at Man United and he will get his chances. But if his mentality, if his attitude is anti-Man United now and anti-Erik Ten Hag, I'm sorry. I don't think the owners are going to sack a manager that has taken them to the UEFA Champions League without doing anything. That is what the Glazers want. They want a manager that can bring in success while injecting less than Liverpool and Manchester City. And that's what he is actually done, right? Look at the window. Look at the crap window Man United have had this summer. They're one of the biggest teams in the world, the biggest team in the Premier League. But if they have had such a crap summer, it means that Erik Ten Hag, whatever happens, has to get massive credit for whatever he achieves with this team this campaign. So for me, guys, to wrap it up, Jadon Sancho, you have no right to reply to the office of Manchester United manager like that. You have no right. Absolutely. Erik Ten Hag, was he a little bit harsh? Was he a little bit reckless, throwing his player under the bus? Absolutely. As a top manager. And I like this about Mikel Arteta. I like this about Jurgen Klopp. I like this about Pep. They have that collective term, we. And when he says we, it means that he identifies with the team. If players made a mistake, if players performed well, he will speak about the we, right? So the right comment in that case should have been from Erik ten Hag that Manchester United, or we, or I as manager, decided to leave out Jadon Sancho for a few reasons. As simple as that. Asked to identify the reasons, you could easily say no further comment, and it would actually calm down. Probably was a little bit angry. Probably he was a little bit loose and reckless. But in my opinion, he stays and Jadon Sancho leaves. But talk to me in the comment box below. Do you think Erik ten Hag is the wrong guy, is the wrong party, or do you think Jadon Sancho, after he's already a flop, should leave Manchester United for the betterment of the club? Let me know in the comment box below. Speak to you soon.